It's time to dad.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Time to Dad. I'm here with Jason. Jason, good to see you. Been a hot minute.
How we doing?
JT.
Hey now.
How you doing?
What's up? Man, I feel like we haven't recorded in forever, even though it's only been a week and a half since we did it last. I don't know. I've been getting my ass kicked at work. T-ball's been crazy with all the rain games and makeups.
Oh, I went to a T-ball game. I saw that. I saw it happen.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's like paint drying. But it was my nephew, my cousin, like my aunt and uncle had a kid very late. So he's technically my cousin, but he's like definitely young enough to be a nephew and plays with my son all the time. But he's like the best hitter on the team. I was impressed by that. Like he was one of the few kids that could like put a swing on it, and really get it out there. So my aunt took like a slow motion video of him, like good form. I mean, his dad's obviously been working on that. It's good stuff.
Yeah. It's a good time. You got kids doing cartwheels, kids throwing dirt clods, kids picking their nose, kids crying.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of everything.
Yes.
I've got an ace graduating high school this Friday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. Fun.
Yeah.
Graduation.
Y'all excited about school being out for you kids?
No. Although we did sign him up, our the local police for the county here do like a whole summer camp thing with the kids. So we signed him up for that. So we'll see how that goes. It's like it's all age groups. So we'll see if he likes it. But it was good. It was a good price. It's with the police department. So
Right on.
He's too old for the summer camp he had been going to at his old daycare. He's past the age for that. So we had to find him something, and we weren't trying to pay $4,000 for damn daycare all summer. So, but yeah, all right. So good to see you, Jason. Thanks for joining us.
Glad you're here.
Hey now.
What do we got? We missed Mother's Day. Shame on us. I forgot about that as far as topics go. Did you guys do anything special, extra special?
Yeah, I was still getting divorced. I did that.
Yeah, but very special.
So I mean, I actually did and I think it's important for guys, for whatever, however you want to break it down. I did the right thing, and because my kids are so young, I got a gift, and I actually made an effort and had them give, and they were involved, and they gave her the gift. So dads out there, if you're not maybe you're not with your kid's mother, you still up to a certain age, it's certainly, you want to show your sons how to respect their mother. You want to show your kids to show the respect to their mother, even if their mother doesn't want to respect you. But that's a different thing. But no,
I totally forgot. I was like, as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, oh, maybe not the best.
No, it's all.
But that's good. I'm glad you did that, though. Was it well received? Did you at least get a thank you text or anything? No.
So my ex-wife's famous quote, because I can remember making the effort of going ham on the house to try to make up for something she's mad at me about, and I'll never forget this. I literally the whole house, got the dog crap in the yard, mowed the lawn, dishwasher, did the sheets, literally went all day, floors. And she literally, I'll never forget, she's like, am I supposed to praise you for doing the bare minimum?
Oh my God.
So that's how that's pretty much
up in that household.
Pretty much what I got when I gave her the gift. But the gift was this is a good gift, I will say. I was happy with my thought here. So what I did is I've got two boys.
Black lung, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. Two boys. Russell and Leo. So everything is right left because of the R and the L. So I got 2 of those frames, like the slideshow frames, like the high def picture frames. And I loaded one, and I used like I had my sister help me. She took the Cricut and put like their name and like a little quote on each one. And I literally went on my phone, and it took a long ass time. I took every picture of that off his father's phone of both of my kids. Every picture I've ever taken that wasn't like duplicates or whatever. It ended up being like 1,000 something for my oldest and like 400 or 500 for my youngest, because it's just there's like an 18-month gap that the other one was just getting all the pictures taken. But
Yeah.
It rotates through or whatever, and it's every image I've captured of my kids, which is that was kind of nice. But yeah, she said it was fine.
Nice. We didn't do anything crazy. I ordered some Mexican from the restaurant she likes. Went with Emerson. We picked out a couple gifts for him to give her and shit like that. Got some chocolate, but I fucked up because apparently every time I get her chocolate, I forget she doesn't really like dark chocolate. But other than that, it was pretty good. Went over to my mom's house for a little bit. Took all the boys over there to drive her ape shit crazy for a little while. That's about it.
Yeah, me and my wife, we went over to my mom's house, spent 2 hours over there, and then we just up and decided I was gonna take her to a nice little Italian restaurant. It's this real nice little spot. It's actually in like an old hotel type building, but the restaurant itself is in the basement. And they've got it done up real nice and everything. It's real cool. But had a really good meal there, and Jasper, man, he did fantastic. He ate like a champ. He got his own little cheese pizza. He loves garlic nuts, obviously. Yeah, we did that. And
my son would just eat all the Parmesan cheese and the shaker at the table.
You said no milk chocolate?
No
dark chocolate?
No dark chocolate, apparently.
Milk chocolate.
Dark.
What about
dark chocolate?
Does she like sexual chocolate?
Sexual chocolate.
Because the great S. Inside of me.
They don't sell that kind of chocolate around here.
Check the chocolate.
That boy good.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
it was nice. It was nice. We didn't do a whole lot, but like I said, just when we didn't really make a whole lot of plans, we just kind of up and decided to go eat Italian. So that's what we did all day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Word. Well, we took care of Mother's Day, even though it's a little late. I guess next holiday we got Memorial Day, which I feel like it's either like an important holiday to some people or it's not. There's no middle ground.
Yeah,
if they even know which holiday they're celebrating.
Well, now I will go ahead and explain the difference, because many people, and obviously it's nice to thank a serviceman, period.
Mm-hmm.
However, a lot of people fail to remember that Memorial Day is there to remember those that have fallen during their service. Veterans Day is just thanking anybody who has or does serve.
Yeah.
But Memorial Day is specifically is to remember those who fell in battle. And I've got a few buddies of mine that that left this world a little too soon during our deployment. So it's a rather somber day. I still try to enjoy it with my family, but it's not a big celebration. Trying to go through pictures of my buddies and everything like that. It's like I said, it's pretty somber experience.
Yeah, I was gonna hint on, or not hint on that, but touch on that, where for someone like you who has served and experienced that firsthand, it's a totally different holiday, even from those that celebrate the meaning of the holiday and what it's about, and take time to remember that haven't actually experienced that kind of loss. I know a lot of Americans just look at it as a holiday to, throw a barbecue and get friends together. And we kind of do. We don't. I mean, we don't really. I wouldn't say we don't throw like a big shebang or party, but usually we'll try and do a cookout as a family. And then we'll go to, there's a little smaller kind of county out by the airport away from us that does like a real small town, like down home parade. And, they have all the military veterans come through and a bunch of antique military vehicles and stuff that come through. And so that's cool because one of the things we tried to in our family to instill in our kids is kind of the times of the past and things that people don't really do anymore or think about or pass on to their kids. But we've always been supportive of the military, the police, EMS, fire, all that. So anything we can do to show our kids, how important that is to us and to keep it going on for another generation, we always try to do.
Yeah. It also helps instill a sense of pride in service for some. But I look back on things, and while I was at NCO, and most of the gentlemen that I had, were under my command, just as much as they were my subordinates, they were also my friends. So, and it hits hard time to time. I saw some pretty ugly, nasty stuff over there, and just try and remember them and just be proud that I knew them for the short time that I did. But yeah, I Memorial Day always hits hard. It definitely feels, for me, it feels different than Veterans Day for sure. Cause, for those that have served and everything like that, and they have lost a battle buddy or just a friend or something like that, it definitely hits a different kind of way.
Dude, I don't think I truly understood the meaning of Memorial Day until we were visiting my wife's family out in Roanoke, and out that way, not far from them, there's a National D-Day memorial. And when you walk, I don't have any other way to describe it, but if any of you dads have ever seen Saving Private Ryan, basically the scene where they're landing at Normandy and storming the beach, when you walk into this memorial park, you kind of walk through this big stone opening, and then you kind of look down stadium style, and the whole entrance to the park it's this massive replica of the D-Day beaches. And so they've got the steel tank deterrents kind of in the water. They've got sand set up. There's obviously American troops. And then they have this whole theatrical like surround sound of the gunfight and everything going on. They've got oh shit, what did they have? They had pneumatics under the water to, simulate rifle rounds hitting the water. And dude, I got like stupid emotional about it. I had family that served, but I don't think I fully, for whatever reason, going to visit that park kind of solidified in me the true meaning of D-Day and the sacrifice and Memorial Day and everything that goes with serving our country. So if anybody's out in the Virginia area towards Roanoke, I mean, that was just like a really moving. I've been to several war memorials and things like that, and I don't think anything moved me the way that display did when you walk into that park. So I'll definitely check that shit out. Yeah. What that's at.
I got to attend a Memorial Day service at Arlington National Cemetery once when I was still active.
He's down.
Yeah, schools used to take around, because that's not far from me. Schools used to take field trips up there, but don't know, political reasons or what, if they just don't like traveling that far for field trips anymore, but they don't go up there anymore. But yeah, that's a wild place to see, man.
It's definitely it's definitely a more political reason as to why they're not doing it anymore. And people, politicians and other people in the public eye, they tend to appreciate the military a whole lot less than they used to. In fact, now they integrate, soldiers, people that are proud of their country. And so yeah, I definitely believe that could be a big part of it.
Yep. I don't know. Anything military related, police, fire, we try to support all that stuff. And we went to they did this like nighttime hot air balloon show the other day. And shit was fucking wild, but the police department was out there trying to direct traffic or whatever. And I made sure I rolled down the window and had Emerson tell the cop, thanks for being there. That was in the middle of the road directing traffic. And then he wanted to run up and tell the other cop that was inside the park, kind of directing people, that, he appreciated him being there. So he gets it, and he tries to do it when he remembers or when we remind him. But it's a lost thing, man. People just don't appreciate it like they used to, and that's a damn shame.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, granted, my service was, I wasn't necessarily fighting for my country, so I was fighting on behalf of my country, but Iraq and Afghanistan, that was kind of a moot point once Bin Laden had been taken out. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Remember when Trump took out Bin Laden? Oh no, that wasn't him.
Oh no, that wasn't. It wasn't any president that took out Bin Laden. So, but
there was a guy in the office.
I don't care who was in office. It wasn't the man in office that took him out. But no,
kicking you off the soundboard.
No, the guy that shot Bin Laden was on Stern. He's a famous guy. You probably know his name, right, JT?
I can't think of the name right off the top of my head.
He wrote books and stuff. Yeah.
But no, like I said, my service, again, I originally enlisted out of a patriotic sense of duty. Recalling back in 2001 when I graduated in 2006, obviously I wanted to, get in the fight, and then once I'd spent a couple quarters over there, I realized it wasn't really our fight. They didn't want us there, helping them try and, expand democracy for them. It's just a bunch of warrior tribes. They didn't want us there.
Yeah.
This is very interesting.
A lot of my buddies that were over there. It's really, really hard to do what you got to do to, like, knowing nobody fucking wanted you there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and granted, I met some really good people over there, had a couple guys, 2 or 3 different guys that were, translators for my squad, and they were stand-up dudes. Obviously they had ideals that were similar, but overall, in a sense, that they didn't care about democracy. So no, it wasn't really our fight, but we got kind of thrown into it after the fact. And I can't speak on past wars and everything like that. But I think the last war that was fought, with American interest in mind, was in fact World War II.
Yeah. And even that wasn't entirely, American interest.
No, not entirely, but there were American interests.
For sure.
I mean,
Pearl Harbor.
Absolutely not. And yeah. But Vietnam, no, that wasn't on any American interest. So it feels weird to hear people say thank you for serving our country, like that. It's like, did I?
Yeah. But at the same time, if shit did ever come to our doorstep, it's those men and women that are serving and signed up that,
you
are going to take the brunt of it.
So just, I mean, even if you don't agree, I mean, that's tough if you really think it's like a bad thing that you're there or whatever. But even if you don't agree, I think you could say that anybody that serves its country or another person is doing a solid for humanity by being of service to others. So, I mean, I don't think no matter what you were doing, whether it was good, bad, indifferent in Vietnam or anywhere else, like you were serving others above yourself. And that's the point of it, right? Like to serve.
Yeah. I even now, I like to live in service of others.
Yeah, every day, man.
First and foremost, my priority, I live in service to my family, first and foremost. I mean, I'm sorry, my apologies. First and foremost is my service to God, and then my family.
Get it right.
No, I do take everything seriously, and I do look at it all as service. Me being a firefighter, my family. So I definitely take service quite seriously, and me personally, I think service of others also gives men a reason to want to keep going. I mean, a sense of purpose.
Dude, I saw a fucking quote the other day that like hit home. Oh, what the hell was it? It was a quick little reel, and it was like, it was a dad talking to his son, and his son was a little older, like probably late teenage years. But they were talking about like why some men don't have friends, and his dad basically responded, and he was like, men like us don't have friends because we're the people that other men depend on, which was basically kind of giving a nod to the men that have that love language and that motto in life, that they dedicate everything they do to helping other people, right? So I thought that was a pretty interesting quote that kind of hit home, because that's kind of how I am. Like, I don't have a large base of friends, but even if it's somebody I haven't talked to in 5-6 years were to call me up and say, hey, I need help with this, I'll do what I can to drop the shit I'm doing to go help somebody out.
I think I saw that. I think I found it.
I probably fucked up the quote. But
so I do a little too.
That is not it.
But I will not.
You can't be tooting on the job.
I want y'all
to be it's only polite to do a little toot. Someone offer it to you.
So
that's
terrible.
In the service.
Terrible. You need a new sound clip, sir.
I don't think. I mean, that was fine.
Sweet. Well, I mean, talking about that, and JT, your experiences in the military and Memorial Day, I think it's only right that we touch on it being Mental Health Awareness Month. I know it's not just veterans that struggle with that, but I know many a veteran struggles with mental health. I know many dads in general struggle with mental health, and we all know the stigmas out there to just kind of grit your teeth and get through it. Don't talk to anybody about it. That was another interesting fucking reel I saw, man. I'm just full of reels, but there was another reel where you probably seen this one. It's pretty big, but there was a guy kind of sitting out back, and he was just staring at like an old ass spool of wire he had. And his wife comes out, and she's like, "The fuck are you doing?" And he's trying to explain to her that, like, when he bought that reel of wire, it was a big ass reel of wire, and he's basically seeing the timeline of his life from the time he bought it to all the projects he's worked on and everything associated with it. And his wife was basically just like, "Get your shit together. Like, it's fucking wire." And it, basically implying that if a man ever opens up to you and starts talking about shit like that, and you just shrug it off, that's the last time a man will ever say anything emotional to a woman like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think every guy's run into an instance where he's attempted to let a woman in their life into kind of the deeper, darker areas of your mind where you dwell, right? You think about being a dad, you think about paying bills, you think about, being there for your kids and raising your kids right and setting a good example. And obviously we don't, I mean, at least I don't always share that part of my brain and thinking with my wife. And I 100% agree with that. If a woman ever shuts you down or kind of belittles a moment like that, you'll never think to say anything close to that again.
Or she uses it to throw something in your face.
Yeah, especially if she like digs up some dirt about something you said later. Sure.
That's kind of like what we talked about before the show. JT said, "What's emotional intelligence?" Like that's a moment that is very indicative of like emotional intelligence versus awareness and empathy. Like those got to work together. Where you got to know the room, you got to know your audience, you got to know, especially when it's a woman that you're supposedly close to, or that you're dating, or you're married, whatever, and then like. If you're not paying attention to the other person when you're having a conversation with anyone, you're doing a disservice to both of you.
Yeah.
So it's like emotional intelligence is reading the room in terms of knowing that the person you're talking to isn't going to appreciate that, or just it's just a common understanding, or even just an open discussion of I'd like to say this from the heart, like, and just preface it. Like you can't just there's times to make jokes and not, and men are very closed off when it comes to mental health. I think dads should value, and I think the world is just a shit show. Like how many people are overrun with therapy appointments and all these things that you try to call. You can't even get an appointment because everybody just is fucked in the head.
Like 6 months out. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I need help now. And they're like, call this hotline.
Yeah. Help now is 911.
You're still breathing in 6 months. We'll see.
No, it's wild.
Yeah. Dude. Help now is call the fire department. JT will come over and talk to you. That's help. That's help now.
I can honestly say I'm not the best on read the room as far as emotional cues and everything like that. I tend to do
room for improvement.
Most of my actions are based on pure logic. I don't, and obviously I don't wish ill will on people. And yes, in a sense, I do have empathy for people, no matter if it's my wife, family member, somebody I knew 10 years ago. Obviously, I don't wish ill will on anybody. I wish everybody well. However, I'm not the best at comforting people. I tend to look everything, in a lens of brutal honesty. I'll tell you, I'm the type of person that'll tell you what you need to hear.
I got put in the doghouse yesterday for doing that.
Yeah. I don't have the capacity to sugarcoat something, pat you on the back, and tell you everything's okay. Yeah. I mean, if it, the situation varies, but if it's a fucked up situation, I'm going to tell you. And, it's like, it ain't going to be easy, but, you got to do this, you got to do that. And,
I think the world needs people like that, though.
There are times
I'm one of those people, man, where I don't like to sugarcoat it. And there's days my wife will hate me for saying something, like I said yesterday. And then 2 weeks later, she'll be, bragging to one of her friends about how brutally honest I am and how I kick her in the ass to be honest with herself about shit. So it's a double-edged sword, but that's just kind of who I am.
And I will say this. I have noticed a trend where, and obviously it's been going on for a long time, especially since feminism really took off, is every woman supposedly says she wanted a man who's emotional. But do they really?
Like it's real.
Exactly. That's.
I don't. I think what those women mean is they want. I think most men, like when they're going through some rough shit or trying to sort stuff out internally, they go through that period of just being quiet, right? And you usually get that shit from your significant other where, why are you so quiet? And I think most men tend to do that. And I hope what those women mean by that is they want a man that can come to them and say, hey, listen, like, sorry if I've been off. I've been having, struggling with something personally, like you don't have, I wouldn't tell them the whole story. That's just me. Maybe you do, but I hope that's what those kind of women mean, is that they don't want to have to, guess, is he being quiet because he's pissed at me? Is he being quiet because what, XYZ? Because I'm not good at that either. I'll just go quiet if I'm fucking stressed at work, or even if I'm pissed off.
Yeah, I mean, whether I'm pissed off or
Pissed on.
got something on my brain,
Not pissed off.
I will.
Better than pissed off.
I tend to keep my mouth closed anyway.
You're getting pissed on.
You tend to observe things whenever you're paying attention and not speaking. You can't hear
Hey,
things.
that's what I tell my damn T-ballers.
Mm-hmm.
If you want me to
So-
listen to you
so-
when it's time to listen, then you got to listen to me. It's a two-way street.
Mm-hmm. So my wife's always asking what I'm thinking about or what's wrong, and I'm like, I'm just sitting here.
You guys,
Uh,
you ever hear the I pulled this up earlier. I wanted to play it, but like Jim Carrey's thoughts on depression. That guy's fucked in the head, by the way.
Well,
Like he's out there, but
he's been pretty open about that.
about depression all the time. The difference between depression and sadness is just, the one thing, like people talk about depression all the
Sorry.
time. The difference between depression and sadness,
We'll clip
sadness
that.
is
Won't
just,
clip that.
from happenstance, whatever happened or didn't happen for you. And depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me. So a friend of mine who's a spiritual teacher has a really good take. His name is Jeff Foster, and his take on it is that they should change. You should think of the word of depressed as deep rest. Deep rest. Your body needs to be depressed. It needs deep rest from the character that you've been trying to play.
Interesting.
I don't know. I like that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can kind of understand that, but I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that sentiment entirely. And the reason I brought up, what women say, they want an emotional man. I'm sorry. If they say they want an emotional man, but that man does open up, and I'm sorry, a woman's not going to respect a man that cries and that just gets overly emotional.
Not in Texas.
Not all the
I
time,
don't-
for
I don't-
sure.
Not in
yeah.
Texas.
Cowboys don't cry.
And I, and I've said this on past episodes. As my wife does enough worrying for the both of us, right? She tends to, get emotional, which it's common, and that's okay. However, how the hell am I supposed to make my wife feel better if I allow myself to get just emotional?
Well,
So I'm not saying men shouldn't cry, but me personally, my own personal belief is if you're going to cry, firstly, stay the hell off of social media. And secondly, I have a shop that if, worse come to worse, if I feel like it's getting that bad, I'll go out there and take care of my business, come back in, take care of business.
What do you shoot?
Uh,
like Pink Whitney's or
doing a little
like
toot.
a fireball?
Fireball.
But
no,
so you're saying you go out and you shoot a gun?
I go in my shop.
Oh,
He just goes to
I
his
thought you said you were
personal
taking a
space.
shot.
Oh, no,
Said
no,
go
no,
out.
no,
I just
no,
go outside and take a shot. I come back in. I mean, that
No,
sounds
I
like
go
the
out
way a
to
lot
my
of
shop.
dads deal with it.
No, I do. That's something else we can cover. I'm also a recovered
Alcoholism,
alcoholic.
not a sponsor. Hashtag not a sponsor.
Now I will agree with him that there is a definite difference between sadness and depression. That I 100% agree with. Maybe not his interpretation of depression. However, I lost a son from a previous marriage while I was in the service. And sometime after I lost my son, I got injured in the military, came home. The VA didn't really want to do a whole lot of shit for me in the sense that they were trying to prescribe me a bunch of pills for depression and everything else. and, you know, saying I'm suffering from PTSD, which to some degree I might concede that, you know, the PTSD was there. However, I wasn't depressed. I was going through some shit. I lost a son. And obviously I resorted to very poor coping skills. I mean, I turned into a severe alcoholic. Obviously that is not how I recommend dealing with your mental health. I'd say the biggest contributor to coming out on the other side of it was I had a decent support system. You know, I myself didn't really turn to therapy or doctors, because the second you go in there and talk to them, you know, you can tell them what's going through your brain, but they want to try and just shovel pills in your face. So,
they don't even crush them up first.
But no, I did have a good support system. I had a really good church, you know, and that's how I came out on the other side. So,
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works for you. Obviously, I'm going to urge you to seek whatever whatever resources you have to try and get through whatever you're struggling with. But, you know, as dads, failure is not an option. You know, if you are having those dark thoughts that you know put you where you want to just quit, just remember, as a father, first and foremost, you don't have the option of quitting. That failure is not an option. So just reach out to somebody, whether it be your spiritual leader, God, friends, family, doctors, whatever you think you got to do. But and feel free to reach out to us on here, the Facebook channel. We definitely don't want to hear about a dad taking his life because he didn't think he had a place to
Dude, I
turn.
hate reading those posts, man.
Oh, so do I.
Somebody posts anonymously, hey, can somebody talk? And they get, 3,000-4,000 comments in a half hour, and then no response from them, dude. I hate fucking reading those. There was the one. It was a military vet overseas that was active duty, and he basically posted the same thing. And I think he even said like he was ready to not, live anymore. And then he just went dark. Nobody heard from him. And some guy went sleuthing and found the guy's dad and reached out to the guy's dad. And somehow the guy's dad was able to get a hold of him wherever he was stationed. And I'm sure that caused some shit for his military career, that having to go down that way, man. But somebody's always willing to go the extra mile to help you out. You just gotta, you gotta ask for it. A lot of times
when
people
you're
don't
active
know.
and you get to talking like that's a no-go.
Yeah. And so, I'm sure that wreaked havoc on his military career and what he had going on there. But at the same time, I'm hopeful that he's looking back at it now and he's like, damn, I'm really glad somebody took the time to go and, try and help him get everything sorted out. Scary shit, man. Scary shit. Talk to somebody. I don't know a single guy out there, and if you went to them and told them you just got some shit you need to talk about, that wouldn't listen to you. I don't even think the douchiest of douchebag guys would say, nah, man, I don't have time for you. And if you do think you have somebody like that in kind of your circle of guys or whatever, man, that's somebody not even worth having around. I think everybody, even you guys, right? We have a relationship because of the show, but we haven't met up in person. We don't hang out regularly other than when we're on here recording. And I still feel like I could call you guys if I was going through some shit and have a legitimate conversation with you and know that, you guys would listen with the open heart and help where you can. And we've already seen some of that stuff amongst us, with other members that have been in the group about stuff that's been going on. So, man, it's a tough month. It's a tough month, dude. But I don't think it gets I don't think it's taken seriously enough, and I still think there's a long way to getting men on the road to being able to, more freely get help and assistance and break that stigma of just bottling everything up till you become, a bottle rocket, so to speak. But like JT said, man, we're always on the group. There's tons of dad groups out there. There's tons of support groups. There's tons of hotlines. So there's really no excuse to not reach out for help from somewhere. So please do. Everybody enjoy your Memorial Day. Be safe. Take a little time to remember the fallen, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Thanks for hanging out tonight. See ya.
Later.